What's going on, guys? GG Gotham Gamer here, and we've got a lot to talk about today. The official Nightmare patch, the 0.4 patch for Phasmophobia. It's the new love of my life right now. Phasmophobia has been fantastic, and I know everybody's looking forward to this new patch that just came out, because first and foremost, we get a brand new map, being the Maple Lodge campsite. And I think one of the more exciting things about this map is how innovative it's going to be as far as differentiation in objects that are going to be used and how they're used and so on and so forth. Other locations are going to start receiving more detail and more unique objects at a later date because of what has happened with the Maple Lodge campsite. So I'm looking very, very much forward to this, and I've also heard from a few sources that there is a Friday the 13th Easter egg in this Maple Lodge campsite map, so very excited about that. We also have new difficulty reworkings that have happened for the amateur difficulty, which is obviously recommended for new ghost hunters. Recommended for new ghost hunters. You have a longer setup time, which as of right now is 5 minutes. You have a longer hunt grace period. There's a short hunt duration for when the ghost is on the hunt, typically 30 seconds, I believe is what it is on amateur, and that increases to 45 and a minute sometimes once you go to professional. Sanity pills are going to restore much more sanity on the amateur difficulty, and you will also regain half of your lost equipment's value if you die, aka your insurance. The intermediate difficulty, which is the standard ghost hunting experience, you get an average setup time, which as of right now is 2 minutes, the average hunt grace period, the average hunt duration, which I believe it might be 30 seconds on the average hunt. I can't remember exactly. It might be 15 seconds on amateur. I'm not 100% on that, and I apologize for that. Sanity pills are still going to restore some sanity, but not nearly as much as on amateur. The fuse box will start off now on intermediate, which is brand new, as to where on professional was the only difficulty prior to this patch that the fuse box would start off. So make sure if you're on intermediate, make sure the first thing you do is kick that fuse box on. There are fewer places to hide on the intermediate difficulty. I've not really noticed that in between the intermediate and amateur difficulties. Maybe that is something that's going to be changed in this patch or later down the road, but fewer places to hide on intermediate. You will also regain some of your lost equipment's value if you die, same as the amateur difficulty. Alright, the professional game mode. This is for the experienced ghost hunters who want a little bit more of a challenge. The ghost can very rarely change its preferred room after moving, but it doesn't mean that it can't. So what room you may start setting your equipment up and stuff like that, it could move to a different room. So it's not beyond, sorry about that, my mic went out. So it is very much possible for the ghost to change rooms during the hunt or the investigation for that matter. There is no setup time on the professional difficulty, and there is a very short hunting grace period. Also, it is a longer hunt duration. Sanity pills restore very little sanity, especially when matched up against the intermediate and amateur difficulties. And as like the intermediate difficulty, the fuse box will start off. Also, much fewer hiding places, even fewer than on the intermediate difficulty. Alright, what everybody's been waiting for, the Nightmare difficulty. The official name of the patch, Nightmare, here it is. Ghosts will not reveal a single type of evidence. You will be completely on your own when it comes to figure out which evidence the ghosts are going to give out. You have to do that without them leaving fingerprints or using communication through spirit box. You have nothing to go off of. The ghost will sometimes change it. The ghost will sometimes change its preferred room after moving, which is not beyond what has happened in professional before. 0 setup time, just like in professional. It has the shortest hunt grace period out of all difficulties, and another long hunt duration similar to professional. However, here's something new. Kills extend the current hunt's duration. that's pretty, that's not a lot of fun, okay? If someone dies on the hunt, it doesn't end the hunt. The ghost can start going around snapping even more necks. Not cool. Sanity pills restore even less than the professional difficulty. I would be hard-pressed to see if it even restores 25% sanity, even 20. I have not tested it out yet. My crew and I are on very strict non-disclosure right now in playing this patch. The fuse box will start off, which is, 3 out of the 4 difficulties now. You're starting without a fuse box being turned on. And there are virtually no hiding places. Almost no hiding places on the Nightmare difficulty. And listen to this. Paranormal interference has damaged some of your monitoring equipment, such as video cameras or your DOTS or anything like that can now be damaged during hunting phases. And that is your Nightmare difficulty. Something now added to this patch, which I am very much in favor for, is the new weather system. There will be a weather simulation system for each individual map, but it will vary, as certain houses like Tanglewood always had rain or a thunderstorm in the background. Now all the maps will cycle through randomly. Out of the weather cycles, you can either have clear skies, fog, light rain, heavy rain, strong winds, or a light snow, which I'm pretty interested in the light snow. That's got to be really cool. Maybe easily tracking footprints at the Maple Lodge campsite. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Another update is the Ouija board. The Ouija board didn't make as much sense as we'd like, according to the makers of Phasmophobia, so it's been revamped. You now trade sanity for information, and are penalized less if you don't get a response, which is great, because now if you use the board, you don't just immediately lose your sanity. It has to get a response from it. But listen to this. In return, they have now removed the demon ghost's weakness of not dropping your sanity when communicating with the board. So demons can now be the ghost if your sanity is getting taken down. Also, if the ghost doesn't respond, you will only lose a small fraction of your sanity. And the Ouija board will now lower your sanity greatly when the ghost responds. Something to keep in mind, the Ouija board is now going to be in more form of desperation. That's the way I see it. You should not be using the Ouija board at all on any of the lower difficulties, such as amateur and intermediate. On professional, maybe. And Nightmare, total desperation. All right, several new ghost types. There are 4 new ghost types that are going to spawn during the Halloween event. One of them is an Onryo. I don't know how to pronounce it very well. Just O-N-R-Y-O, Onryo. I don't know. But listen to this one. The Twins is another type of ghost. That one has me very interested to see where that goes. An Obake. Obake. I'm O-B-A-K-E. Obake? I don't know. That's what it is, though. And then a Ryu. R-A-I-J-U. Those are the 4 new ghost types. As far as information goes, that's all we really know. Some small notes added to this, by the way. When crouching, the player's collider now shrinks to match the player model. Ghosts will now disrupt electric equipment whenever they are visible. So, as far as capturing photos of the ghost now during a hunt, may not be as easy as it was before, as if it was even easy at all. Ghosts can now blow out lighters similar to candles. Very interesting. So now the ghost can blow out the lighter next to you. That's going to scare the shit out of people. Using the walkie-talkie will now attract the ghost during hunts. If you're being hunted, you can no longer key up your radio to check if the hunt period is over. If you do that, you can still do it. But now the ghost is going to start hearing that, and they can track you by the king's noise. So, just a rule of thumb going forward: when the ghost is hunting, complete radio silence. Lighters and candles will now extinguish when outside in heavy rain or when thrown. The truck map screen has received some new icons and updates. The ghost can now interact with several showers in certain locations, like bathrooms. You can now place sound and motion sensors on floors. And here are the changes that everybody has been waiting for. Here is the meat and proverbial potatoes of the patch notes. Let's get started. All ghosts' base speed and acceleration when chasing a player have been slightly increased. That's going to be a real stink fest for those of you who struggle hiding from the ghost during hunting phases. Their speed and acceleration has officially been increased ever so slightly. Ghost hunt duration has been lowered on small and medium maps. Ghosts now have a low chance to not leave fingerprints when interacting with the environment. So now if a door is opened by a ghost, there is a much higher percentage that door is going to yield a fingerprint for your evidence log. Fingerprints now disappear, however, after 60 seconds, which is a very interesting little mechanic. It'll keep people, on their toes a little more, and you'll probably diminish a little bit of what we like to call dispatchers in the van to get their asses into the location and help with the investigation a little more. Attic and basement ghosts now roam less often, which is great, because if you have a basement ghost and it starts roaming 2 floors up, that just doesn't even make any sense at that point. Attic and basement ghosts will now only roam to the next floor and not the other side of the map, pretty much what I said before. And here's one of our new favorites that has been changed, is that all contracts are now selectable at all times on the map screen. So no matter what, if you're a huge fan of Willow Street, you can just constantly do Willow Street because it's always going to be available now. So that's a great change from the Phasmophobia team. The map description has been replaced with a difficulty description. So I like that. They can tell people exactly what is within each difficulty. The bone can now be a random bone from the human body and has new visuals. So now when you look for the bone, it won't just be like a doggy bone in the locations. It could be a spinal cord. It can be a bone from the rib cage. It could be a skull. Very new, interesting mechanic. Ghost footsteps can now only be heard when the ghost is moving. Changing screen resolution in your journal now offers a confirmation. Freezing temperatures evidence has been changed to account for the new weather, requiring a lower reading in cold weather environments such as light snow. Breath has been unchanged, however. So now if freezing is 32 degrees but you're outside in the snow, 32 degrees might not exactly give you the verdict of lower temperatures. It could just be because it's cold enough to be snowing outside. So you might want to look to be more around 25 to 26 degrees before you start zeroing in your location. The fuse box on and off indicator has been split into 2 different lights instead of one that changes color. Ghost sounds will now fade out instead of abruptly stopping. That's a great mechanic because sometimes you're like, are they close? Are they not so close? It's kind of hard to tell because it's so sporadic. So now they have adjusted the volume for the ghost noises. Ghost handprints and footprints have received new textures. Very interesting. Lighters will now turn off when swapped into your inventory. Ghosts can now blow out candles when the lights are turned on. Several rooms have been renamed on Edgefield, Bleasdale, and Grafton. All ghost events will now last a minimum of 1 second. Whoa, don't get too out of hand there, Phasmophobia team. Window knocks will now give noise on the parabolic microphone. Several photo frames have had their photos replaced. The heartbeat will now fade in and out. The volume has also been lowered, so that's great. If they want to lower the volume, how about lowering the volume when you get killed? I mean, yeah, I guess it's more incentive to not die, but it's obnoxiously loud. Maybe change the volume of that. And here, lastly, are the fixes on this patch. Fix number 1. They fixed the grammar and punctuation for English in the journal on several pages. Fixed a bug where ghosts would not always do their walking animation for ghost events. Fixed a bug where only the host could turn the car alarm off. Fixed a bug where the salt placement highlight was visible on walls after looking at the floor. Fixed where you can place salt on the prison staircase inside the wall. Fixed a bug where, quote, no code in clipboard and, quote, none were translating. Fixed a bug where the footsteps sound would continue after you've stopped moving. Fixed a bug where the hunt wouldn't end if the host left during the hunt. That was a brutal one. Fixed a bug where having multiple monitors with different resolution scale would crash the game. Fixed a bug where the ghost would sing while making hunting sounds at the same time.